This is incredible. Incredible criticism. The British tabloids are really doing a job in their English national team as they get set for the second game in US Cup 93. England getting ready to face the US squad with Ty Keogh. I'm John Paul Dellacamera. It's hard to believe all of this criticism for this English team. They're still breathing, yet Graham Taylor seems to be in trouble, their head coach.
The England national team having their most problems in World Cup qualifying matches. They're in behind Norway, who they lost to recently. They also have big games coming up against Holland and San Marino. And they need some excellent results and some good performances here to build confidence towards those World Cup qualifiers. Either that or they won't be here for World Cup 94 in the United States.
Not as much criticism against Bora Milutinovic, the head coach of the U.S. national team, but a lot of the criticism is coming from the fact that the U.S. squad has not done a good job in terms of scoring goals. They've been shut out in their last 3 matches. That could change tonight. We'll see some changes in the lineups for both teams when we return to Foxborough. Welcome back, everyone, to our U.S. Cup 93 series. England versus USA. We'll have that momentarily from Foxborough Stadium. This is the second game in New England. We were still in New England on Sunday when U.S. Cup 93 opened up, and it opened up with Brazil taking on the United States, a heavily favored Brazil side, and they came out strong in the beginning, scoring an early goal off of a free kick. From the right wing side, it was Elie Velten finding an open man, Careca. And before the game was 5 minutes old, Careca had scored a goal. So it was 1-0 in favor of Brazil. Then Vink, a defender who had been a thorn in the side of the U.S. all day, came up with his second goal in the closing minutes of the game. So the standings show Brazil with 2 points, no one else with points up to now. The USA would like to break into the win column tonight as they take on England. Those are our U.S. Cup 93 standings. Time to take a look at the rosters, and Tony Meola remains in goal, but there are other changes time for the U.S.
But no changes in their back five. The U.S. using 5 defenders today. You're looking at Desmond Armstrong, the sweeper. And in midfield, there is some difference. 2 guys that can bring some offensive spark. Thomas Dooley, number 5. Number 9, Tab Ramos. Also, Eric Winalda. He's a real goal scorer, and the U.S. needs some help there.
Now, on the opposite side for England, their coaches heavily criticized Graham Taylor. We'll see what changes he has in store for us.
Well, they have. They've pulled Des Walker out of their defensive setup. Carlton Palmer back in there. He's normally a midfielder, but he can play in the back as well. And in the midfield, Paul Ince named the captain for the first time ever, number 11. And Nigel Clough will be playing an attacking midfield role. John Barnes back in the England team, number 10. He'll be trying to provide some offensive punch for them.
The United States squad coming out looking for the same result, if they can, that they got in 1950 when they shocked an English side by a 1-0 score. In the rain at Foxborough, we'll see if they can do that tonight. US Cup 93, England versus USA, and it's next. Great atmosphere tonight in Foxborough, especially when you consider the threatening skies that we had moments ago. The skies just opened up. It was a tremendous downpour. The rain seems to have subsided for the moment, but that field will be soaking wet for England and the United States. England will feel like they're right at home. These are conditions they normally play in.
Exactly. It could be an advantage for them. We look at the England team with the changes that we mentioned. David Platt, Paul Gascoigne not available for this particular set of games in US Cup 93, so they need to adjust there.
This English side is a different side where they have been when Gascoigne has not been in the lineup. We'll see what happens today. Paul Ince is their captain. Quite an honor for Paul Ince, a speedster. Doesn't have a lot of experience in the national side. Only 6 full internationals. This will be his 7th one. He was named captain. I'm not sure if I'd want to be captain of this team. Platt was the captain. He was injured. He replaced the previous captain, Stuart Pearce, also injured. That armband has not been good luck to anyone on the English side.
That's the reward there for a tremendous season for him at Manchester United. As we look at Graham Taylor under intense pressure, in fact, his head could roll as well as the rest of his staff if they don't come up with the championship or at least a very good showing in US Cup 93.
Changes in the lineup are big. Maybe none bigger than this. Thomas Dooley, tremendous experience. He may revolutionize, for the U.S. anyway, that central midfielder spot.
What he will be able to do is really come in support of number 6, John Harkes, who, if you remember, on Sunday in the USA-Brazil game, was pretty much isolated, operated by himself against the Brazilians, and therefore was not as effective as he could have been.
Well, Dooley's not the only change. There's another big one. Ramos does so well in terms of passing, but he can take on players as well. The midfield's in better hands with him out there.
When you're playing teams of this level, like an England team, you have to be able to get into the attack. And Eric Winalda is a player who can beat defenders, put pressure the other way. What happened to the United States against Brazil is they ended up defending so much, eventually they broke down.
Winalda had a fantastic start in Germany, cooled off towards the end, but they were withdrawing him more. He was playing as a pure striker when he first went down there, was setting the world on fire.
Well, effectively for this game, the United States have brought in 2 First Division German players because Winalda plays in Saarbrücken, and we've got Thomas Dooley also in the German First Division, and Tab Ramos, who is playing in Spain. Great experience and offensive flair in all 3 of them. They can create some goals, and that's what's sorely needed by the U.S. team.
I'd like to see how Wegerle and Winalda work up top. By the way, it's Eric Winalda's 24th birthday today. So happy birthday to Eric Winalda. We'll see what kind of a US Cup 93 he has. He was under suspension last year during US Cup 92. What a difference a year makes. We're underway. USA in the predominant white with the red and blue trim. England in the red and dark shorts. Coming back. England attacking with a chance as Barnes pushes it wide. And the linesman with a flag up right away, and Tony Meola applauds that.
John Barnes, one of my all-time favorite England attackers. So many exciting years that he had at Liverpool, so many successful years when they dominated league competition.
Barnes has been criticized before as well, and some people don't feel that Taylor should have stuck with him, but Taylor coached him at Watford and knows him very well. Long pass from Armstrong, looking for Wegerle. Off a header. Not enough support on that left side, and Chris Woods, the man who replaced the legendary Peter Shilton in goal for the national team, sends it very long. The U.S. will take it. Agus, intercepted. Just stolen away by England, to the right corner. Barnes, low cross, deflected, it's loose, and sent wide, and that treacherous turf may cause some problems here.
And a dangerous chance there for England. Nigel Clough coming forward from his attacking midfield position, nearly getting his foot to this one, but the ball slipped through here to Barnes, who's on full stride. Look at him get around this ball and make sure he has his footing, slips it in for that near post run, and several England players had swipes at it, not able to come through. But this is the way that you can beat a defense. You push the ball in behind them to a man running on, and there's the good serve. It's driven low, and the chance they're just missing by Nigel Clough.
No score, opening minutes of play from Foxborough Stadium, one of 9 World Cup venues for 94. On that far corner, Paul Ince, the new team captain, at least for US Cup 93, but Corbijo intercepts, taken away by England. We expect this game to be much rougher than the Brazil-USA game, which produced only 32 fouls.
You see Mike Lapper there. Very hard tackling defender. He'll like those wet conditions. He can leave his feet more often and cover more ground.
Far wing side, sent long by number 3, Dorigo from England. And Viola's right there.
England known for their aerial attacks. They'll look to establish that air game and dominate in the head ball department.
Jeff Agus, number 12 for the U.S., moving it upfield. Harkes with a push. Off the foot of Lee Dixon, the Arsenal defender, all the way back to Chris Woods. And Woods, this kicks it, there's the rain.
Wet conditions, a slippery ball, not the greatest of footing. It's really a handicap to defenders because if the forward just dips his shoulder, goes the other way, the defender can lose his footing and he's gone.
Ramos with a long shot, a shot that he may not have tried on a drier field, but why not?
Looking for that skip of the ball on the wet grass, which is so treacherous for goalkeepers. Plus, if they do stop it, they may not hold it because the ball's wet.
Chris Woods is a teammate of John Harkes of the United States, both playing for Sheffield Wednesday. Carlton Palmer, number 4 for England, also on that side. David Batty, number 8, leaving it on for England's Lee Dixon. Arsenal defender, number 2, right side. Armstrong, the sweeper, going after him. Dixon ran out of room, but he'll get the corner as Agus knocked it out. Like New Haven, not a lot of room in the corners. Look at the United States bench. Bora Milutinovic, his play continues. Wegerle settles with a pass intended for Dooley, but it's cleared on the left wing. England looking, reversing it. Deflected, John Barnes looking for it, but it's picked up by Clavijo. Clavijo has the big edge there in terms of speed. Barnes in strength. Barnes knocking it down. England on the attack. Meola punched it, and what a collision that was. At the same time as number 9, Les Ferdinand, came in, it was deflected out. What impact.
One of the main goals for the U.S. team today should be to establish some more possession game than they were able to do in their last game. They've not been able to do it here and nearly give up a goal. Meola coming all the way out. The ball deflecting then off of Les Ferdinand and into the stands. A good chance for England, but the United States again giving the ball away on a couple of occasions. And they need to improve upon that against these higher level teams, because these higher level teams will make you pay if you do give up possession.
The U.S. didn't have enough of possession. That was one of their downfalls in the game against Brazil. Graham Taylor doesn't look like he's feeling the pressure, but he must be. Coach of the English side, he took over for Bobby Robson, who led England to a 4th place finish in World Cup '90. Left wing for Agus, number 12 in white for the USA. Trying to break a scoreless tie. Wegerle, save Woods. The crowd likes that here in Foxborough. Unlike Sunday, the U.S. should be the favorite side here. Brazil seemed to be in New Haven.
I think Wegerle here again is encouraged to shoot by the wet conditions. A great ball slipped through here by Agus, and he hits it first time. Winalda was in the center, but I don't think Wegerle knew he was there. It was a pretty good position that Winalda had taken up. I would have liked to see him slot that ball across, but you could never blame a guy for shooting on the first time shot, especially in wet conditions. He might be able to slip it under Chris Woods.
Wegerle with Harkes, not with anything to prove, but wanting to prove something if they can against this English side, guys that they play against in the Premier League. England will clear it away. Lee Dixon sending it long, headed by John Doyle, back for Desmond Armstrong. Armstrong, the sweeper, sliding it to Clavijo. Wegerle let it go through. England will take over. That was Batty getting involved in that, number 8. And the referee's coming over. Batty having some words, I thought, with John Harkes.
Again, the midfield confrontations that you'll see here can be so important in establishing territorial rights around the Harkes not backing down, and that's why you had that incident there.
Over 6 minutes have passed. It's scoreless. Paul Ince can't get through. Agus didn't see or hear Batty, who just knocked him away. Batty putting it back into space. Well done to Ferdinand. On the cross, Meola's got to get there, and he does.
Good read by Tony Meola. He still even had to stretch at the end to make sure he collected it.
Wegerle was looking for it. England will take it back. All the way back it comes to Dixon. Batty at the midfield line. Looking long again. Barnes struggled to catch up to that. Agus. This is new grass here, by the way, at Foxborough. They used to have turf, and now they've changed that to natural grass, and they've done a lot of work in the stadium over the past several weeks. The stadium looks great. You should have seen it a few weeks ago. Ramos plays for Real Betis in Spain's 2nd division. Doyle, good job to reverse it. We're seeing so much more the U.S. is doing in this game than they did in the entire game last Sunday against Brazil.
Moving the ball with a bit more confidence.
There's a chance! Woods was out. Winalda holding, looking, chips it with the left foot across. It looked like he was looking for Wegerle. Everything looked good until that last finish.
What I like to see was that the United States had 5 white shirts. in the England penalty area. So that means guys are getting into the attack. Guys like Tab Ramos, Winalda there having the composure to hold on. Here's Ramos slipping it through to Dooley. Dooley takes on his chest, a little creativity here, and in onto it is Ramos streaking through. It is Winalda. Now he's looking back, he has a couple of options, and there are U.S. players coming in support. He tries to play it to the back post just a little bit too far, and not managing to close that off in terms of the attack.
Bora Milutinovic and company looking on at a scoreless tie in Foxborough.
They don't play kick the can like you used to.
Back here in Foxborough, Thomas Dooley, number 5. Even though he's playing in a central midfielder spot and expected to attack more, just made a nice defensive play, heading it out of the area while England was attacking.
Well, the idea there is to add a lot of stability to the center of the team defensively and get him forward, because he has those qualities to do either role.
Paul Ince will play it back. Barnes with a touch. Ince lost it. Winalda. And Ince battled.
Great recovery by Ince.
England's pass is deflected. U.S. back in numbers. Armstrong almost lost it. Good recovery by Armstrong for Doyle. Back to Thomas Dooley, number 5, returning to the U.S. lineup. Wegerle. Wow. Almost, the linesman had the flag out, but I like the initiative by Winalda and Wegerle. This team is reading each other much better than on Sunday.
That was awfully close, too. Some creativity being shown by by Wegerle and also by Eric Winalda in combination.
Lapper chasing Barnes defensively. Doyle with some help. Number 3 in white for the U.S. to Agus. A giveaway. That hurts. Clough with a long shot. Wide of Viola. But we're seeing more of the long shots from both of these sides in some of the treacherous conditions here in Foxborough. It is still a scoreless match, and we've gone better than 11 minutes here in Foxborough, England and the U.S.
When spills are at their worst.
That long pass from Agus is too far for Winalda, and Chris Woods will throw it. It's batting from Leeds United.
Well, the last time these two teams met was in 1985, and it was a 5-0 win for England. We could perhaps gauge some of the progress of the USA team based on the result today.
And that was a better result than some of the previous ones. It was a 10-0 score.
Going back to about 1964. I believe that's when the 10-0 score was.
29-4 is the goal margin over their last 4 matches, so they haven't been close. Part of the crowd that seems to be drying up a little bit here in Foxborough. Here's Sharp. What a blast. It was blocked. Armstrong clearing. Wegerle. Now it's Lapper, number 2. Lapper from the U.S. Olympic team going long. Too long. That one just skidded. You could see how far that ball went. It's got to be tough to play balls even on the ground or in the air like that unless you can run onto them and make the connection right away.
Well, it's difficult to control a skipping ball on the wet surface, and that's what happened there. No chance for Tab Ramos to catch it.
How do you make that adjustment when you're out there, Ty, with the game going as quickly as it does, to take something off or put something on
Well,
the
to
ball?
some degree, you have to play a little bit more to feet as opposed into the space, because in the space, the ball just skips along and gets out of the reach of the intended target.
Dooley will give it up to Clavijo. Number 21 for the U.S., looking for Winalda. Taken away. England pushing forward. Clough. His father is a famous coach who just recently retired from Nottingham Forest. Coming back the other way. Agus will take it over.
One thing I've liked so far is John Doyle's ability, so far at least, to dominate in the air when England have probed forward with those higher driven crosses. They've also tried to negate some of that, England. If you noticed, anytime they've gotten to the corner, and also to keep it out of the reach of Meola, they've driven the ball very low.
Right.
Well, this is a much better suited team for John Doyle, whose strength really is in the air as opposed to Brazil. He can play against Brazil. He loses something in quickness when they play it on the ground, but he makes up for that with the experience. But he likes these kind of games better.
He likes nothing better than just to have an aerial duel with someone. That's what he excels.
Lapper has a long chase back for it. Meola can't use his hands there in the back pass. Good communication, no trouble there. Third by Pallister. Some juggling going on. Nice exhibition.
Tony Dorigo.
Pretty good.
Tony Dorigo, originally from Australia. Become an English citizen, now playing for England.
Member of their World Cup squad in 1990. From the back, Carlton Palmer. He's got those long strides. Right back. Clough's pass. Headed down by Ferdinand for Barnes, and then Ferdinand goes down. Barnes by himself for the moment. Now a far side shot. Didn't miss the far post by much, but Ferdinand, I believe that is still down outside the top of the arc.
Barnes giving it a try to see if he could bend the ball around Tony Meola, but the collision earlier between Doyle and Les Ferdinand looks like it took its toll on Ferdinand. They're checking out. Probably took a bump to his forehead or over his eye. You see Doyle crashing into him. I didn't see any heavy contact, but the arms were up. And here's Barnes. Look at this. Look at the bend on the ball, trying to catch that far side netting and get it around Meola. Here's another look at it. The ball played up and through, and there's Doyle going up. Now, I don't see what contact could have been unless he just hurt himself when he came down on one of his, maybe he turned an ankle, something like that. Initially, I thought it must have been some type of contact head to head or an elbow to the head.
Looked like the landing, maybe even a hip pointer, but Ferdinand is being helped to his feet. It is still scoreless between the USA and England. This is US Cup 93.
So, you're going on a trip. Please remember your parking space number. Oh, and your flight number, your gate number, your seat number, your confirmation number, your credit card number, your room number, the number in your party, and finally, your calling card number. Or just forget that last one and get a phone card from Sprint. Then all you've got to know is your home phone number and 4 digits. It's easy. And hey, if you can't remember your home phone number, you shouldn't leave home.
You can feel it deep inside. Dedication and a real sense of pride. And you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud. Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your. Proud to be your bud.
All set for this corner. Clough doing a lot of the work. We talked about his father coaching him at Nottingham Forest, and Clough has now just recently signed with Liverpool.
A highly intelligent player. He's made himself useful in different parts of the field already today.
$3 million was the price for Clough. This one goes long, but it was an infraction. Couldn't see from that near corner. May have not been taken properly. Meola will be putting the ball back in play. Probably the most recognizable player on this U.S. squad. He is their team captain.
He's been their main goalkeeper for about 4 years now. His '89 against Peru was his debut in the Meadowlands, right near his home.
We did that game, right? The shutout?
Yep.
3-0 shutout.
A good result for the United States, too, to beat Peru 3-0 in 1989.
Lapper will give it up to Desmond Armstrong.
We've really got a fantastic crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Considering the conditions. I mean, there was a downpour here for a good half hour before kickoff. Lightning and everything else.
Here's Barnes. Left side on the attack. England with a chance on the cross inside. Cleared out. Thomas Dooley, number 5 in white for the U.S.
Dooley dropping back there into a more defensive role because of the pressure and the high balls coming in from the English flanks.
Dooley just arriving from FC Kaiserslautern in the Bundesliga. Right outside the 18, and excuse me, sort of foul, and then Clavijo just took a nudge from Lee Sharp. None was called either way. Played out now on the right side, Dixon. holding. His team won both the League Cup and the FA Cup. The Arsenal Gunners.
Come on, play! Play, Viking!
That's easy to understand. He's fluent in 5 languages. You can say play in any language. Headed down by Pallister. Tell you, Boran Milutinovic, we're watching this foul, had to like the way they were playing about 5 minutes ago.
There is some cohesion now to the U.S. attack. I think you've got some guys that have that sort of attacking flair and know how to play off of each other. With Tab Ramos in there, Eric Winalda. Now they've got Harks to work with, Wegerle to work with. Dooley will come forward too. He's a big plus there. He's almost like having an extra player.
Done about 20 minutes here in this first half of play. U.S. nothing, England nothing. Second game of U.S. Cup, 93. Harks trying to put it through. And Woods making the play. Winalda trying to run onto that. Dixon has Clough with him on the right. No pressure on Dixon. Now he'll leave it for Nigel Clough, 27-year-old player.
Well, you're seeing an attempt here by the United States just to frustrate the English attack a bit. Get it to bog down.
Left there for Ince. Long shot, low to the ground, but Miola's right there.
And I think that is an important point because England, because of their troubles, they've not been able to really play well as of late, particularly in those World Cup qualifiers. Their confidence is pretty much shot. Their media is after them, their fans are after them. And if they go, the longer this game goes without them really producing something, I think the more advantage it is to the United States.
Doyle did some holding on a Ferdinand, then tries to come back against him. It's still loose. U.S. squad got a break, and the Doyle let go of the jersey really in the nick of time. He could have been called. But Doyle looks like he's pointing, saying that his jersey was pulled first, so who knows?
It ended up being a bit of both, but it really comes down to a little bit of gamesmanship and experience defending. So there's the arm in there by Doyle, and he gets the inside track. He made sure he used it well to get some leverage. And in the end, I believe the call was made correctly. Doyle just getting the arm in time.
Right side, U.S. attacking, looking for the first goal. And they'll get the corner instead, their first one. And Ramos will probably take these. He's been taking them in practice. Chris Henderson had been doing that job. The English Brain Trust looking on from the far side.
And Doyle coming forward. Mike Lapper coming forward. Dooley's already in there. So there's some real air power up there for the United States.
Agus will take it. They want a left-footed kicker in for this. With the in-swinger, Woods comes out. It's loose. And Woods is right there.
Doyle was up there with him. Caused some problems for Woods in being able to bring that ball in.
Jeff Agus, who hails from Dallas, Texas.
Have a look at it here, and this is different from Sunday's game where Taffarel went up by himself all the time. Look at Doyle, right in there, all over Chris Woods, and Chris Woods does quite well to be able to collect his thoughts and his position to be able to pull that ball in.
That was a great recovery, and a lot of white shirts were around. U.S. now attacking with some more numbers. 4 on the attack. They were looking for Wegerle, but the pass was off target and goes out of play. Goal kick coming up for Chris Woods, the 33-year-old keeper from Sheffield Wednesday. We still have better than 21 minutes to play in this first half from Foxborough. England and the U.S. squad battling. They're involved in a 0-0 draw.
Notice these prescription spectacle lenses. Indoors, they're a pleasing blush tint. Outdoors, they darken to screen out uncomfy glare and odious UV. Indoors, back to blush, and so on. They're called Transitions Comfort Lenses, and they're made of lightweight plastic, which permits the delightful pun, light makes them dark, plastic makes them light. New Transitions Comfort Lenses.
Transitions Comfort Lenses, proud sponsor of the World Series of Soccer.
Played right out in front, knocked away. U.S. will keep it alive. Looking for the first goal. Couple of fakes on the far side. Lapper tees it up. It's a low shot and it goes wide. But again, the U.S. squad with more chances in terms of this first half than I can remember in the entire 90 minutes at New Haven.
A very dangerous chance, and two of the newest arrivals combining to create it. It's Winalda, who seems to be getting into good positions just in front of Chris Woods, in front of the England goal. And here's the ball clipped back by Weger. Look at Woods is out of position, and Winalda's making a dangerous run right into the 6-yard box. That did not miss by much. And then they kept it alive. Push back. Lapper tries to hit it. Doesn't get enough on it, but that could deflect, or it could be a screen. And if it would deflect, you'd like to see it pop onto the foot of a white shirt.
Batty will be putting it in play. Now for Ince. Less than 20 minutes to play unofficially. First half from Foxborough. USA and England 0-0. At this time on Sunday, the USA was already down 1-0 to Brazil. In fact, that happened in the first 4 minutes. Neither side getting an early goal in this one. Ince. Barnes, give and go. Nice touches there, and the last one was a bit too much.
Again on that attack down the flank by England. Dooley dropping into a very deep position to really provide that extra protection in the center of the USA defense.
Off a couple of deflections. England looking to get it, but Clavijo sends it forward. Knocked all the way back. Doyle excelling in the air, but it's taken away. Clough. Batty tees it up, and that's blocked. Knocked ahead, but intercepted by Pallister. Offside. Good idea, though, by Pallister trying to catch the U.S. squad on that quick counter after the interception. There's Pallister.
He's a big fella, at least 6'4". I like those kind of defenders in England.
Wegerle can't get by Pallister, or can he? Yes, he can. The pass, Winalda. It's loose. Knocked away. England cleared it away. They'll give up a corner, but they have saved the goal, at least for now.
What we're seeing is the United States gaining confidence in their attack. They've put a little bit more pressure on the English back four. They've been able to create some chances there. Again, Winalda nearly breaking through. Wegerle in on it, and Ramos was in a good open position off on the other side. They weren't able to quite use him.
Wegerle all the way across on the line drive, and I'll tell you, Doyle was very close. He may have even been held as he made his run through.
He was impeded.
Gurwood was better.
Another great chance here. Look at the nice first touch as it's played through in behind the English backs. And now onto it is Wegerle. And he wins this little duel here. A little bit of a trip there perhaps that he got away with. Watch him be able to just slip this ball into the space to Winalda. Now Winalda, if he could play Ramos, it could be an easy goal. He doesn't see him. Now Wegerle has another stab at it. But what it really means is there is some disarray in the English defense.
They're playing too without Des Walker, who's been highly criticized of late, as has the entire team, but especially Walker. One mistake he made in the Holland game cost his team a penalty kick and an eventual tie. Who knows what that might have done. Agus. Knocked away by Winalda. Some nice touches, or by Wegerle, I should say. Taken away, U.S. squad with Wegerle. Pushing it back for Lapper.
England playing with a square back four, as is their custom. That's generally the way they play. When they've not played that way, they've really had difficulties. And what it amounts to is that your sweeper really becomes the opposite back on the weak side, and they do it so well.
We were told they didn't play that way against Norway, and they had a dreadful performance, losing 2-0 on the road. Here's Agus. Again, look how many U.S. players are on the attack. Parks, more players join Clavijo on the right. Clavijo knocking it inside. Dooley up there. It's played right side and knocked away. Great defensive play. Carlton Palmer. Boy, the U.S. had some players in there. Parks among them, who's limping.
Just by inches did he miss getting his foot to one that would have been a great chance. It would have tested Chris Woods. And Parks looks to be in quite a bit of pain. He swung through, and with the ball and his leg were blocked as he tried to get that ball on target. Boy, I would have liked to have had that chance.
Well, as a coach, you've got to look for progress game to game. He's seeing something.
Here it is. The ball from Clavijo goes up. Look at Dooley. He's up in there. Winalda's up there. Now it's loose, and Harks is onto it, and that's where he got the injury.
against his former teammate, too, with Sheffield Wednesday, Carlton Palmer. It's still scoreless from Foxborough.
The love of a child lives in the heart of each Seeing Eye dog. For generations, 4-H children and their families have raised Seeing Eye puppies during the pup's formative first year, giving affection, discipline, and worldly experience pups could never get in a kennel. These gifts of love are always returned, first to the children, and finally, to us.
For information about puppy raising, call the Seeing Eye.
Thanks, puppy raisers.
Another day begins in Europe. And as it does, American Airlines will touch down in 13 European cities in 9 different countries. So whether it's business or pleasure that brings you to Europe, fly the airline that can have you there as early as tomorrow morning. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
Still scoreless between England and the U.S., but England just had a nice chance while we were away during commercial break.
But some real encouraging signs for the United States team. More confidence. They're looking and they're able to get into the attack much more quickly than we just saw them against Brazil 3 days ago.
U.S. looking to attack. And now it's cleared long and deep by England. Totally different game. But we knew that coming in because of the different styles of play. You never expected it to be the flair of Brazil when England was playing, so both teams have had to make changes.
Here's those air battles that we talked about, trying to take up positions. Lapper just holding his ground, really ends up getting the foul called against him, but that'll go on all day.
England will have the restart. Barnes now patrolling the left side. Has 11 goals internationally. Over 70 caps. Plays it across, but Miola's right there. No support on a run by a Barnes teammate.
Really a more entertaining game than the game against Brazil because both teams taking shots. Both teams looking very quickly to get into attack rather than just keeping the ball and trying to kill some momentum. They're both all looking to go forward and create attacks.
More competitive. The other was much more one-sided, Brazil's favor. Here's Clough. Sharp. England trying for that first goal of the match. Almost 13 minutes still to play. Miola was coming out and then saw some help from Jeff Agus. Doyle. Now on the left side he wanted Roy Wegerle trying to get inside of Pallister. Almost did. Clavijo. Both Clavijo and Agus venturing forward more in this first half, probably than they did in the entire 90 minutes, too, against Brazil.
I think they feel more secure. Number one, Dooley's right there in the center, helping Hart, so he can hold the center in case they go forward.
A chance for England on the right side. Sharp in the 18. Top of the arc, it's blocked by Mike Lapper. England fights and wins. Sharp. Headed out by Agus. Good recovery coming back. He was caught a few strides upfield. Ferdinand. Now it's Batty. Clough. They want the give and go. Clough trying to get through this. 3 white shirts there, and he's finally cut off Dooley. Good read. Ramos. Had knee surgery this year, and he's come back from it. Comes the U.S. attacking. Knocked away. Batty will take charge. John Harkes with a quick hand up to Roy Wegerle saying, basically, sorry, I'll get you next time. No score here at Foxborough. 11-12 approximately. Left here in this first half of play, at least according to the stadium clock. Far side for England. Clavijo defending. Knocked to Barnes. Pushed away. Harkes. Early pass to Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum fights for it, but England will get it back. It's knocked out of play, and there'll be a throw-in coming up. Ian Wright, who scored his first international goal after playing in 9 games, ready to come on and watch this guy. He can fly. Great goal scorer on the club level, Ty, but he's not done it internationally until he scored against Poland. Ferdinand, I'm wondering if he was still hurt from the other collision.
I think so. He had that collision earlier with John Doyle. Obviously not able to shake it off. And Ian Wright, a proven goal scorer in the English Premier League, has yet to establish that here for the national team. But he does. He has outstanding speed. It will give a lot of problems to the American defenders.
Miola is recovering this ball, and as he does, it's time for our Adidas trivia quiz. And the question is, what year did England win the World Cup? What year did England win the World Cup? I'll give you a chance to think about it, and then give you the answer later. Armstrong. Wijnaldum. Wegerle on the nice fake. Trying to put it through into space. And the nice play by Woods as Dooley was coming through.
Again, some real ideas by the U.S. team in getting players forward. You see Thomas Dooley, he's a defensive midfielder, but he got into the attack there. And they did have the same idea in trying to split the English defense. We see the replay here. Wijnaldum wins it, plays it through. There's Wegerle on excellent move. Plays it through there. Look at Dooley trying to sneak around on the weak side. Just comes up about a foot short. But these guys, they've got a design in mind in terms of their attack. They're not just going at it in a disorganized fashion. They're really using each other's talents to make it happen.
On that right pass, England attacking. Barnes mistimed that header to the right wing. Two is Dixon. He gets it back from Batty. Sends it across low. Barnes got a deflection off Armstrong, and then Armstrong with a nice recovery to clear it upfield. England will have a throw-in, and as they have the throw-in, we'll give you the answer to the trivia quiz question. You probably knew, didn't you? 1966. Controversial result, too. Jeff Hurst's goal, was it in?
Jeff Hurst, in fact, the third goal of his hat trick.
People still talk about that to this day.
Bobby Charlton was my hero on that one. Of course, Bobby Moore, who tragically just died recently, was a defensive key for that England team in '66.
Armstrong losing his footing, and then the battle. But Lapper is there. Oh, he missed. A shot taken was just wide, and a shot was rushed, it appeared, by Wright. Eight FA Cup goals this year.
Yeah, he normally does better with those, I would say, but he's just new onto the field, maybe not into the flow of things just yet. But Lapper misjudging the spinning, bouncing ball on the wet surface there, giving Wright the clear chance.
Well, both of these squads are playing under FIFA rules, and most of it is World Cup related. There are a couple of changes. Substitution-wise, you're allowed 3 subs in terms of field players, 1 goalkeeper change if you'd like. So England has already made 1 move on their roster. Submit a list of 22 as well. We've got a player down for the U.S. squad. It's Wijnaldum. And he'll get some attention. David Platt. I wish he was out there because he's a great player to watch, a tremendous scorer on the international level, made a name for himself during World Cup '90.
Oh, that incredible goal that he scored against Belgium will be forever remembered. And of course, Platt hurt his ankle playing for Juventus in the Italian First Division, therefore not available for today's game. They're hoping he will be able to play the other 2 games of the U.S. Cup for England.
I think you will see him before this U.S. Cup series is over. Wijnaldum is apparently okay. We want you to, well, we'll watch this first and then.
Again, it's wet ground, people sliding, there's contact going on. Wijnaldum trying to win this ball, and you see there his ankle turning slightly as he's tied up from behind. But I think you'll be able to shake that one off. It was not a hard hit.
England moving it offside on Wright, according to the linesman. Miola pushing it forward. I was going to say stick around at halftime, a special treat. We'll talk about that 1950 World Cup result with a couple of guys that played in that game, and they are here in the press box as we speak, so we hope you'll stay tuned. On that clear from England, the linesman had the flag up on that far side. Wijnaldum in an offside position. We're looking at John Barnes, very stocky. Was going to take some time off from the English side to undergo personal training and conditioning on his own, but that changed.
He's had some injury problems, really, as of late. Not quite as effective as he has been over the years. He's trying to get back on form, but maybe he thought by playing games he could do it better than by that special training regimen.
Scored a magnificent free kick against Holland. First goal of the game very early in that 2-2 tie. U.S. attacking with Ramos on the right. Back to Ramos from Wijnaldum. To the corner. Ramos sends it far post. Headed right back near side. And then it's cleared away by Tony Dorigo. Much more enterprising U.S. side. Sent long. Woods right there.
And the difference for the United States, in my book, has been the quality of the attacking runs by players like Winalda and like Tab Ramos. When the United States wins the ball in the transition, immediately they're sprinting into space, looking to have the ball played through, and it is being played through.
Clough will find Sharp, and the ball played into space that time, and Sharp didn't hit that one the way he wanted to. White was open, wanted that ball.
And frankly, at the moment, fewer ideas in terms of attack from the England team than the United States. The United States look to have more ideas in how to launch your attack, how to coordinate their attacking runs.
We talked about the pressure tie that England is under. They go into the locker room 0-0, let's say at halftime. I think the pressure even mounts. If they're down, it mounts even more, but even 0-0.
They've already got images in their minds of the tabloid press in London tearing apart their performance.
Really, how much worse can those headlines get? There's Dooley at the back. Part of a rain-drenched crowd here in Foxborough.
Some England fans there. Our critics.
Some people will say they're one and the same, at least lately. There's Carlton Palmer, a much improved player over the last few years.
He's so lanky, he appears to be awkward, but he makes fine tackles, he's in the right position, and he's got good ball skills.
Here's Winalda. Dooley slips. Doyle was trying to come in. Pushed into space, well done to Batty. Batty getting free. Chased by Agus, good recovery, but he did foul him. But it slowed down the English attack. Batty made a nice move, and Agus caught up with him. England now coming through. Outside the 18, now inside for Lee Sharp. On the cross, Meola got caught. The shot far post, right off of it.
Just clipped that far post as it was driven low.
Thought it was Dixon that ended up with the shot, but
that is the best chance of the game so far for either team.
Did Meola get caught on the wet footing? We'll see.
Well, this is a beautifully played ball here as he slips past the U.S. defense. Now he gets it all the way to the back post. In fact, Lapper probably saves a goal here just by getting his head to it first. Now it's struck first time, it's through a crowd, and it does nick the post. Meola didn't even see it, but this is a quality cross here at full speed. Meola backpedaling, he can't get to it. Luckily, Lapper does. Now the shot comes immediately, and there's no way that Meola's really set for it. And had it been just 6 inches further in, it would have gone in.
Lee Dixon, 29 years of age. U.S. squad sending it long, left side. Winalda, joined by two mates, make it three. At the feet of Wegerle, cuts inside, tackled away. Another chance coming up. Agus, far post. Ramos keeping it in. Score, Dooley! What a goal!
Well, you could almost see it coming in that the United States coming forward confidently. And it's set up originally by a great run by Winalda. He plays it all the way to the outside. And look at this great control by Tab Ramos, and then he gets it back to Dooley for the diving header. And Dooley's a defensive midfielder, and he's inside the 6-yard box. That's the difference in the U.S. team today. This ball floated all the way to the backside. Look at Ramos. That's tremendous control to be able to keep the ball alive. And then he has an idea in clipping the ball back. The diving header by Thomas Dooley puts the U.S. team up 1-0. Here's Agus playing it across. Tab Ramos pulling it out of the air, knowing where Dooley is, clipping it back, and there's the snap of the head by Dooley as he dives and puts the ball into the net.
Try doing, as we watch Tom Dooley, try doing what Tab Ramos did in a dry field, much less a wet field. White sending it the other side. Two players falling down inside the 18. It was Clavijo and Sharp.
Those are superlative skills to be able to pull a ball out of the air like that as Tab Ramos did and keep it in play.
Closing minutes of play. Thomas Dooley's first goal tonight. You think his teammates weren't happy to see him coming back? They are a different team when he's out there.
And the first goal for the United States in the U.S. Cup so far. This is their second game, and Agus, great ball to find Tab Ramos, and that's the one that most guys lose that one. They don't keep it in play, but he does, and not only does he keep it in play, he finds Dooley out in front for the goal.
Well, the USA had gone 346 minutes prior to this game without a goal. Their last one was against Colombia. They had been shut out 3 straight times. That takes some of the heat off. We're in the closing seconds, at least unofficially, in this first half. And that pressure we talked about on England will mount if it stays like this going into the locker room at halftime. Wijnaldum may get it back. Good run. But Dixon played it well back to Woods.
The runs by Wijnaldum have just caused havoc for the English back four. They've not been able to deal with it.
Number 5, Thomas Dooley.
Thomas Dooley getting credit for the goal, but so many players helped in that.
And one of Wijnaldum's did start it even before Agus had the ball.
USA 1.
Dooley clearing that one away. Played across by Ince. Dorigo. Ince again, right, making a run inside the 18. Couldn't head it down well enough, but Batty will get a crack. Give and go. Batty's onside. Miola got a piece, and then Batty went over him. The referee says to play on. That was close.
It was close. I think the difference may have been the referee giving the benefit of the doubt because of the wet conditions. Miola really can't stop his momentum when he slides out for this ball. But here's a ball not quite cleared by Doyle. This is some beautiful play here. Miola comes to cut the angle wisely. He does take out the attacker, but he couldn't stop his momentum because of the wet conditions. On a dry field, they may call him for taking down the attacker.
You know, Batty also had a couple of players on the opposite side that appeared to be onside, but made the shot, did everything well. Just didn't go.
Well, Barnes flicked on that little give and go. That was nice work.
Well, England could have tied it in the closing seconds of the first half. Instead, it's the U.S. still battling. Wegerle inside the 18. Running out of room and was bothered anyway by Pallister at the back. Talk about confidence. The U.S. squad may not want this first half to end.
Wegerle playing much better than he did against Brazil. He seemed to have an off day. Today he's got into the swing of things, and I think the lead, though, has been taken by Wijnaldum. I think that helps Wegerle be able to play better. He's got someone up there that's really moving, too.
What a first half. Lineup changes have paid off for the United States. They have scored the first goal of the match late in the first half of play, a Thomas Dooley goal, and it's a 1-0 lead, the United States over England in Game 2 of US Cup 93. You're watching the World Series of Soccer here on Sports Channel America.
Mystic Music presents Instrumental Magic, 40 of the most beautiful melodies ever recorded. Just listen to these romantic favorites. Order the enchanting sounds of Instrumental Magic today. 3 records or 2 cassette tapes, only $19.95. 2 compact discs, only $24.95. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-841-0300 or send $19.95 for records or cassettes, $24.95 for 2 CDs, plus $4 shipping to Instrumental Magic, P.O. Box 1144-SCA, Monument, Colorado.
This single sporting event is coming to the U.S. June 17th through July 17th, 1994, World Cup Soccer. The games will take place in Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, Los Angeles, New York, New Jersey, Orlando, San Francisco, and Washington. The winner of the World Cup will be decided in Los Angeles. Tickets go on sale this weekend. Don't miss it for the world.
Research shows there's nothing like babies and puppies to get your attention. That's why we're using them to draw your attention to the federal government's free Consumer Information Catalog from Pueblo, Colorado. It lists free and low-cost publications on saving money, finding a job, getting federal benefits, educating your children, staying healthy. Sorry, I thought I was losing you there. To get your free catalog, send your name and address to Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009.
Today's World Series of Soccer game is proudly presented to you by Sheraton, the official hotel of the U.S. World Cup team. By Bounty, the quicker, thicker picker-upper. By Toys R Us, the world's biggest toy store. By Snickers, packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies. By Sprint, not just another phone company. By JVC, the inventor of the VHS. By Transitions Comfort Lenses, plastic makes them light, light makes them dark. And by Energizer, it keeps going and going and going. And frankly, so does the effort of the United States national team and the England national team. The effort, Ty Keel, was right there all the way through, and a magnificent goal in the end for the U.S.
No doubt about the effort, but there's definitely a difference in terms of the confidence going forward. There's no question about this team getting together and sending players forward. We mentioned it early. They had 5 white shirts in the England penalty area right off the bat, and Thomas Dooley adds so much. Obviously, he scored the goal, but in addition to that, he's done all this defensive work too. Tab Ramos, but Winalda, I think, has been the biggest difference. Probing runs in behind the England defense and willing to go at people, and that frees up space for Wegerle as well.
A lot of enterprising work being done by the United States squad. Can they keep it up for another 45?
I think they will, particularly because they think maybe England's confidence is really lagging.
Stick with us. When we come back, we're going to be going to the past, and we'll see a smarter and a more intelligent Mr. Keel.
The game between the United States and England ends in a sensation, a ridiculous result for the birthplace of modern football.
Even if a compact camcorder has macro autofocus, power zoom, shoots in low light, and is easy to use, just make sure its cassettes play on your VHS VCR at home. JVC's compact cassettes play on any VHS VCR.
See this? It won't make you smarter. When it was decided how smart you'd be, your credit limit didn't matter. You can't buy intelligence, okay? Well, maybe you could. I mean, no card is more accepted on the planet than MasterCard. So you could buy books and computers and chemistry sets, and that could make you smarter. And Master Values discounts can save you up to 25% at thousands of stores. And if that's not buying intelligence...
Welcome back, everyone, to U.S. Cup 93. The United States on a Thomas Dooley goal, leading over England 1-0 after 45 minutes of play. This is the 6th time that England and the U.S. have met on the soccer field. The overall goal tally in the series now stands at 29 for England, 5 for the United States. But there's only one match that really matters, and that's the historic 1-0 victory by the U.S. over England in Belo Horizonte during the 1950 World Cup tournament in Brazil. This is how it happened, as we see in today's MasterCard Soccer Spotlight. It was the greatest result in U.S. soccer history. And now, better than 40 years later, 2 of the players involved on that day are talking with Ty Keel.
Yes, we've got here Walter Barr, former coach at Penn State, but the guy who got the assist on in the winning goal for England last year, and the father of the NFL place-kicking bars. And also we have Harry Keogh, who played right back for the U.S. team against England in 1950, and my dad. So this is a tremendous occasion for all of us. And guys, the scoreline right here at halftime must look familiar.
Well, let's hope that it holds up, Ty, because we scored in the first half 100 years ago, and we were fortunate enough. And the way the U.S. team is playing, I think they are going to hold on to that lead.
What do you think their chances are, Harry, of being able to pull off the type of thing that you guys did in 1950?
Well, I think it's a lot different now. We're playing on a par with them. I don't think they outplayed us in the first half. I think it was pretty close to even. Maybe they had one good chance, but Tab Ramos pulled an excellent play 2 times, bringing the ball down like a miracle and then centering the ball for Dooley's head. So, hey, we're not struggling to keep up them like we were 100 years ago. We're not struggling like we were then. No, we're right in the ball game all the way.
Well, let's go back to 1950. What were the feelings like to even be stepping on the field against a team like England?
The World Cup didn't have the significance it has today. We knew we were going onto a field with the best in the world, and we were just hoping to keep it respectable. As it turned out, we were fortunate and came off with the 1-0 victory.
What about at the end of the game? What type of reactions? Could you guys believe it?
Well, I actually walked up to Frank Wallace at the end of the game, and I said, boy, Frank, I really feel sorry for these guys because there's no way we should beat them. But, you know, we did, and we were happy, but the English players really responded with real sportsmanship, and it didn't surprise me, but, you know, I thought it was a pretty wonderful thing for them to do.
A tremendous accomplishment in 1950. Can the U.S. repeat this today in the U.S. Cup 93? We'll come back and see in just a moment. You're watching the U.S. Cup 93 from Foxborough Stadium on Sports Channel America.
Is leading by the score of 1-0 over England after 45 minutes of play. Time right now for our halftime report, being brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, and natural. Proud to be your bud. We'll check out first half highlights in this 1-0 USA lead.
Some real competitive spirit by both teams and up and back action. Here's a chance down the left side for England. The ball played all the way back. Lapper gets up, flicks it on to save the day at the moment, but then the rebound is there for Dixon, and he just barely misses at the far post. But then coming back the other way, the United States gaining more and more confidence as the half went along. And here's Jeff Agus, a beautifully flighted ball all the way to Tab Ramos. Tremendous skill here to keep the ball in play, to find Dooley out in front just from the top of the 6-yard box for the diving header. But Agus riding through one tackle. He's able to get the ball up over the England defenders. Here's Tab Ramos, and this is a great shot here, him able to bring the ball down the way he did.
Quality stuff for Thomas Dooley. The only goal of the match thus far. And we'll see what changes we have. This has been our Budweiser halftime report, brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural. Proud to be your bud. Second half, we'll see if there are any changes out there. I wouldn't expect any, Ty, from the U.S. standpoint. They want to have results and improve and look good, but they could probably sniff or smell a victory here, and they hate to make changes.
Yeah, you don't want to tinker with something that's been working quite well.
As well as it's been working, especially. Second half is underway. USA in the white uniforms, red and blue trims. England with the red shirts, blue shorts. This one goes out of play. Graham Taylor, I wonder what that locker room was like at halftime.
The facial expression has already changed from the shot we had of him in the first half. Obviously, at halftime, he has to have been unhappy with what the score is.
Dixon putting it through, it's deflected, and Meola with a magnificent play. Outstanding. That one was headed for the upper corner.
Incredible reactions as you see the U.S. team congratulating Meola for really saving the day there. This ball being driven across, but it's deflected there by John Doyle off his shin. And look at Meola, acrobatic save, being able to still deal with the ball even though it had changed directions, and a wet ball at that.
From the corner, a bender from Dixon. Pallister was up there, and it goes out. Should be a goal kick coming up.
And here's the chance again. England splitting the U.S. defense. Agus racing to get back, but this ball played across the front and changed directions when it went off of Doyle's shin. The reactions by Meola saved the day, and his flexibility to reach back and tip it over the bar.
Well, the referees awarded a corner kick, not a goal kick. All set. England's second corner kick of this half. Meola punched it out in a crowd. Clough offside. Meola didn't want to take any chances, but right.
And he wants to send a message, because you have to expect many more balls now from England to be played into Meola's box. And now it's a question of whether he can stand up to it, and he has so far. He's proving his aggressiveness for the high balls, which could end up being the difference in this game.
U.S. squad playing it back now to Desmond Armstrong. Playing sweeper for the injured Marcelo Balboa, who's targeting December as his comeback for the U.S. From the other night, Bruce Murray out of the lineup, who leads his team in goals, career-wise, and appearances. And Chris Henderson, the only player who has started every game this year for the U.S. squad internationally, so he breaks that stretch tonight. On a knock the other way. Gene Harbord, the other player not starting tonight, with Wijnaldum in. So there were 3 U.S. changes. USA attacking this half left to right. Wijnaldum let it go across for Ramos, but the ball died on him. Sharp. Right side of the field. Batty coming through. Number 8 for England. Looking for Barnes. One in the air by the U.S. That was Lapper. Now on the left wing side. Another tough play. Mike Lapper not spectacular. He gets it done. Very steady, very consistent.
Rarely changes the expression on his face either.
He's one of the underrated players on the squad.
Very consistent.
At one time, he and Doyle looked like they were competing for the same job at stopper. Now they're playing together. Clavijo giving it up, right side. Nice job, Tab Ramos. Like John Harkes, we've watched these players for years. You can see the improvement since they've gone overseas. It's incredible. Wijnaldum looking. Batty coming back the other way.
England could be vulnerable here. We see Nigel Clough pushing up more into the attack. That's an obvious move there by Graham Taylor. But when you think about it, they're without Alan Shearer, one of their great scorers. He's been injured for quite some time. They've been still trying to replace, really, Gary Lineker over the last couple of years in terms of scoring punch. They don't have David Platt today. It's a different team. Of course, Gascoigne is a game breaker, someone not available to them in the U.S. Cup '93.
Ironically, Gascoigne's team, Lazio, would not let him come here because they were going on tour of Canada. We've been told that that tour later was canceled, but the rosters of 22 had already been submitted, no changes allowed, so there was no way to add Gascoigne. At least that's what we were told yesterday at a news conference in Boston. Wijnaldum giving it up. Harkes not having to do as much this game as he did on Sunday, but the U.S. is doing much better as a team. Played inside of Wegerle. What a chance! Roy Wegerle getting a great opportunity, and again, the U.S. is a confident side.
And again, some great stuff in that they're able to play balls through, and there are people in positions to do damage. And this ball here played by Clavijo, it's in behind the England defenders, and look at Wegerle, he's able to take it down on his chest. Now the race for the loose one, just barely lost as Pallister recovered just in time. Wegerle a bit disappointed, but that's some good stuff. They keep doing things like that, they'll come up with another goal.
Angus in the corner. Woods looked like he had slipped going back to defend his goal, but the U.S. couldn't get a shot on him. Sharp attacking the other way. England now bringing forward some numbers. Right. Banged away, Armstrong.
The pace of this game decidedly picking up.
Ince. Intercepted. Look out. Running into traffic was Harkes. England with a chance. Clough saved Meola. Got his left hand up and saved the goal.
Another miraculous save by Meola. As Harkes did lose the ball at the top of the box. Meola showing those lightning quick reflexes. Here's Harkes, he's won the ball, he goes towards his own goal, and he loses it. Here's Nigel Clough, and the U.S. defense in pursuit. They don't get to him, and look at Meola, gets the hand on it and just tips it over the bar. Dangerous situation there.
It's an uncharacteristic move backwards for John Harkes, and he did lose it. In the air, cleared out.
But to their credit, the England attackers really read it well to strip him of it. We look at Peter Bonetti, who played for England in the 1970 World Cup. In fact, he was the backup for the all-time great Gordon Banks. He did appear in the England-Germany game. Now he's training the England goalkeepers. He also played in the NASL a stint with the St. Louis Stars. I got to see him many times back in about 1975-76.
England has had some great goalkeepers. Gordon Banks, Peter Shilton. Lifted the other way, and Wijnaldum will just boot it upstairs. Didn't want to fool around with it. Eric Wijnaldum, who has been playing in Germany and has really made a name for himself overseas with FC Saarbrücken. Unfortunately for that team, they've been relegated to the second division as a team. They had a disastrous second half. Here's Clough from the corner.
So far, Wijnaldum has played like a man possessed. He's made a big difference in this U.S. team today.
Sending it inside, it's loose, upstairs it went. Ince had a great chance to tie this match. So, England still trailing it, USA on a dually goal in the 42nd minute, leading it 1-0.
Adidas is out to change soccer in America. Change begins at Foot Locker.
You couldn't get enough of it. You ate Nintendo. You drank Nintendo. You slept Nintendo. Now Toys R Us has 2 hot games for Super Nintendo. Capcom's Street Fighter 2 and Nintendo's Mario Paint, where you can draw, paint, and even compose music. Check them out at Toys R Us, the biggest video game store in the world. So now you can breathe Nintendo, love Nintendo, be Nintendo at Toys R Us.
Back to the action. Carlton Palmer's header up for Clough. Now it's Batty. Looking long. Wright is onside. He's going to get some help. Try to switch it across, and it looked like Doyle got a piece of that.
Well, as we see the field open up and as we see England throwing more and more energy and numbers of players into attack, what you're going to see here perhaps is going to be a gauge of the fitness of both of these teams. Now, I was impressed with the fitness of the U.S. team against Brazil on Sunday. They didn't work the ball very well, but their fitness looked pretty good, and they may need it in this one.
From the corner. A bender inside, headed up by Clavijo. This is the first match for England, although they've been training several days for the U.S. squad's second match since Sunday. So the game's 3 days apart, but the 3 new players have really energized this entire team. Wijnaldum was the one we were speaking about prior. At one time, there were no European or no American players playing in Europe. Now, last count, something like 35 of them, and several, like Wijnaldum, enjoying great success.
And with higher level leagues. Quite a few of the guys that you mentioned, if you're going to take a count like that, are at lower level leagues. Not like he was playing in the first division in Germany.
Lapper. Back to Miola. Sends it long. Still in play. Headed up by Dixon and then banged away towards Wijnaldum. One in the air by Pallister. Taken away. Ramos in a space. Wijnaldum upended. Pallister was right there.
Again, though, a strong run by Wijnaldum. It only missed by about 6 inches. Had he been able to just get a foot in, he'd have been through.
Right side of the field for Dixon. Palmer's pass. Paul Ince. Right. Looking to get this pass on the turn. Couldn't get it there.
Important there not only to win the ball, but to keep possession. Lapper's doing an excellent job.
And here comes the U.S. Right wing. Wijnaldum to the corner flag. There was a slip there by an English defender. Pallister, crossed by Wijnaldum. Headed down, it's loose. And Woods, though, will have no trouble getting there. Bora Milutinovic sees a different U.S. squad today. What a clearing up, too. Cooperating. After he refused to cooperate about 20 minutes or so before kickoff. A torrential downpour, thunderstorms in the forecast, but it really did clear up.
Well, the field will continue to be slick, even though we've got a little bit of sunlight coming through.
Right side of the field. Dixon, who hit the post in the first half. Unlucky, or his squad could have been up. Or tied. Here's a long shot, and that goes out of play. The shot taken by Leeds United's Tony Dorigo.
Ramos, estás bien aquí, ya estás bien, Ramos. Ramos, estás bien, estás bien. No, métete allá, Ramos.
He said before he speaks 5 languages. You know that language. Can you translate?
He's talking to Tab Ramos. He's telling him everything's just fine. Keep doing what you're doing, but pinch over. They're going to get Tony Meola right now for some delaying of the game tactics. Really taking his time to take the goal kick. And I think that's warranted. You don't blame Tony for trying. They're trying to slow down this momentum, which England is starting to build. They are certainly demonstrating more urgency in their attack.
That was Alfred Weiser, who is a referee from Austria. Meola sending it long. Intended for Wijnaldum. Dixon taking it back. This is a more energized English side here in the start of the second half, perhaps feeling the pressure, knowing what a loss would do. Coming right back. Ince was tripped up. Didn't hear the whistle at first, but it was an apparent foul.
Well, they gave the advantage initially. It's a bit of a delayed call, in fact.
Maybe that's what Hartz is arguing about.
Yeah, I mean, once you give the advantage, technically,
that's it.
You're not to put it back, but referees will play with it a little bit. Trying to be fair, really.
Let's see what England does on this free kick. Clough, one of 3 players around the ball. Dixon being another. U.S. getting set for a busy wall. Looks like 2, 4, 6.
Meola may be tested here again. We've seen him tested twice. Very dangerously already in this half.
The referee and the U.S. have a different opinion of what 10 yards are like, and the U.S. just came up about another 1.5 yards to 2 yards after I thought he had him positioned.
We could see a few more yellow cards. That usually gets their attention.
It was like a chorus line. They all went at the same time. Clough, a bender. Meola got a hand on it. Corner kick for England.
Some exciting stuff, and again, the whole U.S. team coming in support of Tony Meola, giving him credit. We see here a swerving ball whipped in just over the wall, so Meola sees it late, and he still gets to it with the outstretched right arm. He's playing a fantastic game.
England with this corner. Meola coming out. Got one hand on it, but there's a foul called on England.
Another look at the free kick here. There's a fake run here, maybe to get Meola looking the other way, and then the curving ball with the right foot. Look how far Meola has to go for it, and that ball was going in too, and he scoops it out with the outstretched right hand.
I thought that was a well-disguised free kick.
A lot of bodies out in front of Meola. I think he did quite well considering the distractions that you mentioned in terms of the decoy and the screen.
England attacking. Left wing side. Ince trying to lead by example as their designated captain for U.S. Cup 93. And a foul on Batty. Coming back the other way. This is the United States on the attack, right at midfield with that 1-0 lead.
And Tony Meola playing like a man with a mission. He has something to prove to English soccer. He's been over there on a few occasions on trials with English teams, never quite caught on. And he's obviously not happy about the 2 goals given up versus Brazil. He's come out here and really made a difference in this game.
He's looking for his first win tie of 93. No wins, 4 losses, and 3 ties. 1 shutout, that was against Peru a couple games ago. Tackled away by Lapper. Again playing very steady as he stops Ian Wright. Ernie Stewart getting ready to check into the lineup now for the U.S. squad. Let's see who he's going to replace. It'll be the first U.S. substitution, but not yet. Played across, and a crunching foul.
A dangerous play called against Ian Wright. And a high kick. There was a little bit of the low head ball as well. Here you go, the diving header, and there's the swing at Dooley's header. Was it Doyle? I believe it was Doyle. And Wright saying, hey, he had his head down there. He shouldn't have his head down there, but that's the referee's decision. Wright swinging at the ball, clipping Doyle across the face.
When we come back, you will probably see Ernie Stewart, and you will probably also see Des Walker coming on the field for England. It's a 1-0 lead for the United States.
So, you're going on a trip. Please remember your parking space number. Oh, and your flight number, your gate number, your seat number, your confirmation number, your credit card number, your room number, the number in your party, and finally, your calling card number. Or just forget that last one and get a phone card from Sprint. Then all you've got to know is your home phone number and 4 digits. It's easy. And hey, if you can't remember your home phone number, you shouldn't leave home.
And in the 62nd minute, we have a
Impossible! How can you store 8 rolls of Charmin in that tiny space?
By squeezing, Chief.
You see, moms need more storage space.
So we're taking 8 rolls of Charmin and squeezing them.
Great idea! We'll call it Space Maker.
So you can store twice as much in about the same space, so you don't run out.
And it pops back out again.
Glad I thought of it.
Try new Charmin Space Maker.
Remember, if it's not squeezably soft, it's not Charmin.
Welcome back, everyone. The U.S. leading it by a goal. Dooley's goal in the 42nd minute of play. First half is the only thing. Now, Ty, I'm interested to see what the changes have done. Des Walker is in on defense for Carlton Palmer. And on the opposite side, Ernie Stewart for Eric Winalda. Can Stewart make those kinds of runs? He did on Sunday.
Yes, he showed tremendous quickness. He showed some offensive flair. A couple of very creative plays against Brazil. He can hopefully do more of that here against England. He has the wheels to do it. on the change for England. Des Walker is a player that probably has more offensive skills, a little bit better ball skills than Carlton Palmer, able to get balls forward to try and create more chances for England.
The foot you were seeing was Eric Winalda's. They were wrapping it up. It looked like in ice. We don't know if he had a previous injury before.
If you remember, with about 10 minutes left in the half, of the first half of this game, he did go down momentarily.
You're right. Here's Harks going in momentarily, and then it's knocked out.
Harks saw some daylight initially. The England defenders covering well and closing that space.
Clavijo. Dooley has it knocked away. Batty. So England have made a couple of lineup changes so far. The USA with one. Batty getting this ball. Well done by England, but that last pass was blocked. Armstrong getting a piece.
Now the United States will need to take care more and more as the half goes along to not get stretched out all over the field. A little bit more compact. When we heard Boro yelling before at Tab Ramos, it was for him to pinch in a bit and start to congest a bit of the midfield. Early on in most of the first half, he was well wide, allowing them to keep possession better or get into attacks. It's not as important now you're defending a lead.
And as the time goes by, some of these tactics may change a bit.
Ramos, in fact, changing shoes right now, so effectively he's over on the U.S. bench. The U.S. team playing a man down at the moment.
Knocked ahead by England. With a chance, poke to the left wing side. Lee Sharp, tackled away. Clavijo has it blocked. Last touch by Dorigo. U.S. will have a throw-in.
Tab Ramos not happy with his footing. Probably looking to go to a longer stud. Here's Fernando Clavijo going down low to make sure he gets as much of his body behind this ball to win it. Now he gets it out of danger.
And he gave Ramos enough time to tie the shoes, but he's got to get the referee's attention before he can come back in. Carlton Palmer, the man leaning forward.
The lanky guy in the center of your screen.
Tough day. Des Walker replaced him. Walker wears number 5 for England in the red and blue uniform. Harks will leave it off now for Dooley. Stewart. Dooley was running into space, collected. England played upfield, right. He has Clough up top with him. Ian Wright's pass knocked away by Clavijo. Taken to Harks. And now back for Doyle.
Good collective defense there by the United States. Doyle initially out of position, still coming back. Clavijo winning the ball, but they had guys covering for each other.
Doyle with a handball called. Actually, he did the best he could in that situation. He had lost the ball, tried to get it back, and had England knocked that away from him, he was down and out.
Yeah, he had lost his footing as well.
That's Batty, one of the newcomers on this England roster for this game. Platt's not playing, neither is Gascoigne. Talked about that earlier. And that one's going on Ian Wright. Wright committing some fouls as he battles to try and get in a position. We may see some frustration on this English side.
Frustration building, pressure building. A team, as we mentioned, who's gone through a bad streak in World Cup qualifying. They're trying to set their house in order. A result like this, if it would stay this way, would create all kinds of problems. Could, in fact, perhaps change the coaching position for England. Graham Taylor's job in jeopardy.
Wegerle will give it up. Agus left-footing it to Dooley. Number 5 for the U.S. He has their only goal. Only goal of the match. And Stewart appeared to be obstructed, and Dooley went down. I didn't see whether he collided with someone else. He's in some pain.
A strategic bump by Des Walker on Ernie Stewart, or Stewart may have had a clear chance. Here's the collision here. Dooley streaking forward through midfield. And look at the, he did his ankle with the bottom of his shoe. Thomas Dooley taking a strong hit to his right foot, and he's in a lot of pain. He may have twisted it. If not, at least he took a very hard blow to his right ankle as the bottom of the shoe just raked across it.
What a critical loss that could be if he has to leave. 32 years of age, he has stabilized the midfield and has done a great job helping to organize the defense, especially with Balboa, the regular sweeper, still out. 1-0, USA still on top of England.
Can't get enough of America's first World Cup? You will in Soccer America. How about our national team and the Olympics? Soccer America delivers.
I've been reading Soccer America ever since I went head-to-head against Pelé back in the 70s. I like Soccer America because it profiles personalities. It reports on the pro college women's and international scenes. and focuses on the very pulse of soccer in America.
Call toll-free to learn more about Soccer America, the USA's only national soccer weekly. 18 issues, just $19.94. Call 1-800-453-6500 now.
Some kids needed a playground.
There's a hunger inside you.
And they were gonna get it.
When helping out means washing up, you can work up a hunger for a Snickers bar. Packed with fresh roasted peanuts, thick milk chocolate, and caramel, Snickers satisfies the hunger inside you.
There's a hunger inside me.
It's a beautiful day.
Right, Charlie?
Inside the area, but Meola comes up with it. One change in the U.S. lineup. When we went to break, Thomas Dooley appeared to have hurt his ankle. He is left, replaced by Alexi Lalas.
And they will miss his experience in the heart of the midfield and also in the heart of the defense.
All the way back, Meola, right there. Good play, and he may have been clipped. Where's the card? Here it comes.
Thomas Dooley has left the game because of this tackle here by Paul Ince. You see him coming through, straight through with the straight leg, and Dooley's ankle folding over. He's got a sprain. Now Meola playing so aggressively today. Look at, he wins the race with this ball. He takes a clip to his ankle as well. I don't think he's injured seriously, but he wants to make a point that the England attacker went after him. There's Dooley checking out that right ankle. He's got at least a good bruise to it, probably at least a minor sprain to it as well. A good idea really to pull him off in this one because there's another game to go in U.S. Cup for the United States.
Ice it right away. The tough thing is for Lalas coming in this situation. They're up 1-0. Dooley was a stabilizer there. It's a tough role for Lalas, who is a gutsy competitor.
We'll see. Ian Wright got the yellow card here because he went after Meola. He got there a little bit late. He saw Meola had won the race to it. He still had his foot up and did clip him. And it's more to send a message that, hey, you don't go after goalkeepers like that. I know it was a close play, but he could have pulled that leg in.
Meola is okay, apparently, or at least better than Dooley was. Yellow card for Ian Wright.
But look how far out Meola was to win that ball. I mean, he's been patrolling that whole area.
Ty, who may have to pick up the pace with Lalas or anyone, whoever replaced Dooley? Who else has to do maybe a little bit more now?
Well, you weren't going to expect Dooley to do much going forward as we get further into the second half. And Lalas has quite a few of the defensive capabilities of Dooley.
Here's Stewart with that speed. Tackle away from behind. Great job by Dorigo. May have saved the goal, at least a scoring chance.
Dorigo came across, otherwise Stewart's all the way through, and Ernie Stewart showing so much promise as a goalkeeper. Look at the speed he's got. He's just about to run away from all of them at the last second. Leaving his feet is Dorigo with the slide, or he's not there. And Stewart looking to create more of an impact in terms of goal scoring for the United States, just missing there.
Dorigo knowing what a second goal for the USA could mean. Ramos on the corner. Former All-American at North Carolina State. Bending it inside. Wood's got a piece of score! Lalas! Unbelievable.
What a picture to see the United States be able to come up with their second goal of the day, the first one of this half. And off the corner kick, Alexi Lalas so powerful in the air, getting above everyone. And look at Graham Taylor. He has no answers at the moment. He's made a couple of changes, hoping to get Ian Wright onto the field to create a goal, perhaps, to bring in Des Walker. But here it is. It's the in-swinger from the far side. Alexi Lalas gets up, and with the back of his head, just flicks it through. Chris Woods swinging it air. And the United States goes up 2-0. Lalas so aggressive in the air. Look how high he gets up to win this ball. You see the flaming red hair flicking the ball into the net, and it's 2-0 for the U.S. against England.
I said unbelievable, not because Lalas can't do it. We saw him score against Colombia on the free kick, but he's coming in really for defense.
I've never seen him move that fast. He's a defender, you know. He doesn't run past people. He's running past his whole team.
Great job by Lalas. That takes some of the pressure off. He's coming in, thinking more defensive, protecting a 1-0 lead, and he scores on a header about a couple minutes after he's come in. And it was right after Ernie Stewart had been broken up on a great defensive play by Dorigo.
He just won the ball there.
Stewart. Oh, Lalas' adrenaline. Forget it. Here's Stewart. A right footer, right at Woods.
He got all of it, though. There's Alexi Lalas, your goal scorer, the second goal for the United States.
He's got a lot of questions. You said something about answers. He's got a lot of questions now, maybe even more than he started. What does this do, though, to the game? It's not a 1-0 lead that the U.S. must protect. Now it's 2-0. What happens?
Well, England becomes that much more desperate. Expect them to play more direct, get the ball forward as early as possible to put immediate pressure on the U.S. defense. And for the United States, it means to be that much tougher and not letting balls bounce in their end. And Tony Meola playing as aggressively as he has up to this point to cover as much. Here's the goal for the USA. Alexi Lalas, number 22, floating through by himself, really. No one stayed with him, and he just beats Woods to the ball. And that's not easy to do. Woods has a full arm length to work with, and Lalas still gets up over him, beats him to it, and puts the ball in.
And Woods had a right cross coming that way. I mean, Lalas is looking at danger in the face on that.
It doesn't look good for the goalkeeper because he needs to get to that ball when it's up higher, when he can use that arm's length to reach it and get it before Lalas can get to it. But Lalas had left early, got up there, and just beat him to it before the ball got into Chris Woods' reach.
He's not known as a goal scorer, maybe until this year, because he's gotten 2 already, and this team has had a hard time scoring goals. They've got 2 tonight.
He's really the second defender who scored today for the United States. Dooley, playing a defensive midfield role, came forward to get the first one.
Clavijo. Too long for Wegerle.
But again, a key element there was when Lalas went cruising through the England penalty area, no one picked him up. He went up by himself. No protection there for Chris Woods.
And there were at least 3 defenders in the neighborhood.
They just watched him.
Dorigo will have a throw-in.
And that's a problem that a coach will have. He's got to be able to talk to his defenders and say they've got to attack the ball. They've got to track people coming through them.
Graham Taylor, thinking about this game, maybe in the back of his mind, the British tabloids tomorrow, assuming this continues. Batty, there's still a lot of time left, almost 15 minutes. Batty, offside.
And to give you an idea of the proportions of the scoreline as we look at it, the United States still really a fledgling on the world soccer scene. England, one of the great teams, great histories. They won the World Cup in 1966. We look at Peter Bonetti, their goalkeeping coach in gray hair. He played in World Cups. And the United States now winning 2-0. No one really expected the United States to be able to beat individually any of the 3 teams that are here in this U.S. Cup.
Doyle had no other play to make, so he puts it out. Corner kick coming up. John Doyle recovering from back surgery, similar to what Joe Montana of the now Kansas City Chiefs went through the other night. I almost said 49ers. Played with them for so long. Off the corner. Deflected wide, far side, nobody home for England on that right wing as it goes out. Ince is hurting.
He wants off.
Well, this is a team that clearly, forget about effort, they need a goal.
He's their captain today. Not been terribly effective other than taking Dooley out.
Which didn't help because his replacement scored the goal.
Yeah, there you go. Backfired on him.
Wegerle. Holding. Cross midfield. 2-0 now. USA leading it. On the right side, Ramos. His assist off that corner kick. Set up Lalas.
I like the way he set up Dorigo there. He slowed up and then immediately changed gears. Nearly slipped past him.
Off the Clavijo throw. Ramos chesting it.
Nice little touch.
Some good stuff between Wegerle and Ramos. So now to the far side, intended for Agus. Collected by England. Down 2-0. Here's a breakaway pass. Clough or Wright. It's going to be Wright. Leading for Clough and all the way across. England could have done better with that. And it's cleared out.
It looked promising for England there in that the original ball was played in behind Clavijo. But the United States defense organizing themselves very quickly, setting up and being able to defuse that one.
Dorigo, far side. Meola's there.
Solid performance, Tony Meola. Confidence in the air.
And he and Barnes collided there. That was why the whistle blew. I think they've got Barnes on that foul.
See the determination on Miola's face.
Well, you know he took a knock earlier from right, but they're going to have to carry him off. He's not leaving. Clavijo. Sending it long. England will recover. Ince. Quickly to Sharp. Clavijo stood his ground, knocked it away. Throw-in coming up for the United States. Less than 12 minutes to play.
Come on, back. Come on, guys. Come on, Lee. Head up. Come on.
Not much more Taylor can do except offer encouragement, but tonight it hasn't been there. USA has been the better side. Dixon. Sending it long. Right. Cutting. A chance for England. On the pass across. Cleared away by Clavijo. Not out of danger yet. Clavijo did a great job on Sharp, who was right in there looking for the first goal of the match for England. It remains a 2-0 lead for the United States, and we only have about 11 minutes remaining in a match at Foxborough.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going and going. Another day begins in Europe. And as it does, American Airlines will touch down in 13 European cities in 9 different countries. So whether it's business or pleasure that brings you to Europe, fly the airline that can have you there as early as tomorrow morning. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
Back to the action. Clavijo with a pass down the right wing. He wanted Ernie Stewart, but it's too far. Ramos still down, involved in a tough collision. About 10-15 yards shy of midfield. Desmond Armstrong trying to get the referee's attention. Can't do it. Lallis looking. Ince got a piece. Now finally a whistle. Desmond Armstrong's pointing.
Well, they wanted to stop play, but Doyle so dominating in the air.
So Ramos is down on the field right now, and while his teammates and trainers tend to him, it's still a USA lead, 2-0. Soccer fans come in all ages and sizes. And I don't know if that child's enjoying the game or not. You can't tell by that reaction.
Well, that baby may be witnessing a bit of history as we speak. The United States have not beaten England since 1950, since the guys we had on at halftime were players. Kobe Jones is on for Tab Ramos, who got injured in that aerial duel a moment ago with Tony DiRigo. And Jones has the speed to help out in terms of counterattacks, in terms of pinching back in the midfield to win balls. If the United States can keep their composure when they do win the ball and not give it right back to England, they could be through here with what anyone would have to describe as a huge upset.
To give them also 2 points, their first 2 in US Cup 93. Cause a lot of problems for England's manager, Graham Taylor, if the result does stand. Lee Sharp, left wing. Kobe Jones and Clavijo are there. Clavijo knocked it away. Right back. Ince. Here's a chance of the turn right. Save Miola! A brilliant save by Tony Miola, who's made at least 3, maybe 4 world-class saves tonight.
And there's your man of the match, Tony Miola. There's no question there that was a world-class save in terms of reaction, in terms of his range. And he's playing like a man possessed, because look at this ball here. All the way through. He's got either corner to shoot at. Miola still gets his hand down, and it's a wet ball. It's skipping, and he gets enough of his hand behind it. Tony Miola, look at this. He's looking to relieve some of the pressure. He's so pumped up to have made that save and to really keep the lid on this English team. If England gets 1 goal, they're totally back in it, and the U.S. then are scrambling and backpedaling.
2-1 could have changed the whole complexion of this one. As you know, sometimes a 2-0 lead can be at times the worst lead.
And Ian Wright can't buy a goal. He had a chance very early on when he had first stepped on the field, put it over the bar. This time Meola just stood right up to him and shut him down.
England looking to gain possession, but the U.S. squad would like to play a possession game of their own. England getting it. Pluff. Into space. Wright is onside. Here he comes against Meola. Save again! Tony Meola. Brilliant stuff. It's not Wright's night, but it is Meola's.
There's no other way to describe it but heroics. Because 2 times in a row, Ian Wright is completely through on Tony Meola. Meola makes the right decisions and playing with a fire in his eye. We see it here. This ball played beautifully through. Wright's got all the options here. Meola cuts the angle, smothers it, and then holds it. And this guy has pushed himself to the limit, and he's been the difference in this game.
Back to the live action. England with another chance inside the 18, and it goes over Meola, who's worked very hard.
A really well-timed run here. Nigel Clough playing it through and collected well by Ian Wright on the full stride. But Meola plays it perfectly in cutting the angle and smothering it.
And no real rebound, or at least nothing that got away from him. Tony Meola, a great performance in goal tonight for the U.S.
You can feel it deep inside. Dedication and a real sense of pride. And you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bird. Budweiser.
Coming back, trailing 2-0. Here's Batty. Wide on the right side. Nice crowd on hand tonight here in Foxborough, despite the rain. Looking to get an official count if we can. They were expecting, if they had nice weather, maybe 35 to 40,000.
And it's been a rough couple of weeks for Graham Taylor and his England team. Losing to Norway in the World Cup qualifier, really putting themselves in the trick bag as far as qualification.
From the corner, it's deflected. Still loose inside the 18. A couple of players getting a crack at it. Corner kick, says the referee. Barnes will give it up to a teammate from that far side. Less than 3 minutes unofficially remaining. 2-0 U.S. in the air. 18 yards away. Oh, just when Batty was ready to strike, it was knocked away. And an offside call, but it was Ernie Stewart that made that good challenge.
And think about it, England will face Brazil this Sunday, so there's really no let-up for them. They needed at least a point from this game if they expect to be competitive in this U.S. Cup 93.
Time right now to announce today's Snickers World Series of Soccer Most Valuable Players, and let's take a look at them for you as the crowd begins to chant USA. For England, it is Lee Sharp, number 16, chosen as our Snickers Player of the Game. Nice effort by Lee Sharp, but not better than this man, Tony Meola, outstanding in goal. 4 world-class saves that we remember, and probably even more than that. Congratulations to both players. Snickers will make a charitable donation of $1,000 on behalf of Tony and Lee to youth soccer in the United States. Well done by both players. Graham Taylor, the expression doesn't change. Batty, inside. This one's deflected out. Got to say one thing about Graham Taylor. So gracious at yesterday's news conference, said he expected the heat. He knew that he would be criticized. He said his team was playing badly, and as a result, you go after the players and the coach. So he didn't try to hide behind the criticism at all. It's a tough, tough job. From the corner. Headed down, but right at Tony Meola. The United States are minutes away from doubling the score of that 1950 upset, when the United States beat England 1-0. Our clock shows about a minute to go. Again, it's unofficial. Goals by Dooley and then Lallis, one in each half, and some spectacular goalkeeping by Tony Meola have been the difference, but a tremendous team effort by the United States. You could go right down the list. Everyone has made a contribution. It may sound like a cliche, but you think about the runs that Wijnaldum made in the first half and how he and Wegerle were working. John Hartz didn't have to do as much today, but he was a more effective player within the team. And what Tab Ramos did, especially to salute the back line of the U.S. Armstrong at sweeper. Clavijo, Lapper, Doyle, Agus. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody. And even the substitutions have played a role. Lallis coming on, scoring a goal. Ernie Stewart continuing Wijnaldum's runs. Kobe Jones doing likewise. A night to remember here in Foxborough. Coming back the other way, Lee Sharp. Batty. Clough looking for it. 37,652. Got to applaud the people of New England for coming out on a night like this. Woods coming out on a night like this to clear into the stands. They're announcing it now. Great night for soccer in Foxborough. They've had some magic nights here when they had the tie with Ireland, 51,000 plus a couple of years ago. And then last year as part of US Cup 92. One of 9 outstanding venues in the United States. 1 year from now when World Cup 94 comes your way. Kobe Jones, tackled away by Dorigo. England continues to press on, although they know it's over. Foul is going to be called as Hartz hits the deck. You will see a celebration from these United States players. This is a big result. Tom Dooley, Eric Wijnaldum, a major part of tonight's success. The wall being set up. It may be after this kick. Look at Thomas Dooley. Free kick, U.S. Hartz playing it in. Headed out by Pallister. Not yet out of play, though. And now it is. Corner kick coming up for the United States, who lead it 2-0. Bohr is wondering about his watch and how different it may be from the game referees. Off the corner. That's it. The United States has defeated England 2-0. Tony Meola, our Snickers most valuable player for his side. Lee Sharp was for England's side, but Meola sharper than Sharp tonight. Graham Taylor wondering maybe about the post-game news conference that's coming his way in about 15 or so minutes. He'll go in there along with Bora Milutinovic. Great result for the U.S. in Foxborough, but we're not finished yet. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Last year in the United States, the typical farm animal was vaccinated against serious disease. Regrettably, 40% of this country's 2-year-old children and millions more all over the world were not. To help us make sure every child can get immunized, please call 1-800-4KIDS. After all, shouldn't we treat our children at least as well as animals?
Adidas is out to change soccer in America. The change begins at Foot Locker.
Want the bald facts about hair loss? It's not some dread disease. The problem is you just don't look as good.
Me? I spent over $1,000 on this hairpiece so people could snicker behind my back. Minoxidil cost me $50 a month, and I still couldn't see results. Hair transplants? That's thousands of dollars in surgery. And now there's even spray paint. Hey, this isn't a piece of furniture, it's my head. Finally, one of my actor friends mentioned Couvray. Hollywood's known this secret for years, he said. It's the one recommended by doctors because it can't clog your pores. So I get some Couvray and I try it. It's so natural looking, no one could possibly tell. This is me without Couvray. And here I am with Couvray. Amazing, isn't it? Couvray is a gentle cream specially formulated to darken your scalp, neutralize its shine, and thicken your remaining hair. And look, it's completely waterproof. That spray stuff rubs off and comes off in water, but not Couvray. It's so undetectable, all you see is hair. Here's my friend Gil before, here's Gil after, and here's the comparison. This is Bruce before, here's Bruce with Couvray, and here's the side-by-side. And look at this. Yes, Couvray's great for women, too. Here's Millie before and after. Couvray costs about $5 a month. You'd pay up to 8 times as much for the leading spray. And if you don't like Couvray, they'll refund every penny. You have nothing to lose except the look of thinning hair. So get Couvray. It works.
For rush delivery, call 1-800-882-8600. That's 1-800-882-8600. Or send $19.95 for your 3 to 4 month supply of Couvray, plus $4.50 shipping to Couvray, 10 Bay Street, Westport, Connecticut.
A magical night in Foxborough as the United States national team shuts out England. 2-0 is the final score. Goals by Dooley and Lallis, but a great goalkeeping performance by Tony Meola. Ty Keogh is standing by now with the man who twirled the shutout for the U.S. Ty?
We've all witnessed history, truly a historic moment. Tony Meola, incredible saves. You're the hero, heroic measures that you took late in the game.
Thanks, Ty. I'd like to think that I was the hero, but I made some saves late in the game, but it was early in the game that we established ourselves as a defense, as a unit. And John Doyle, Lapper, and Desmond were really the stars of the game. In front of me, everything was solid, and that's exactly what we needed.
We could see how badly you guys wanted it. What went on at halftime? What did you guys decide to do coming out from there?
Well, we decided that we couldn't sit back. Against England, they're always going to get their chances, and if you sit back against them and give them the opportunities, they're going to beat you. And we had to go out and get another goal, and Alexi came in and did a great job, and it's just good to be a part of it right now.
I think you set a strong example early on in commanding the penalty area, too. I mean, you've got to know that they're going to come in with high balls.
Yeah, I mean, that's England's game, and everybody said I couldn't play in the air, and they doubted me, and I've always thought that was my strong point, and it all worked tonight, you know, and if I ever had a clean sheet in a game, that was one right there.
You wanted it. Did you have something in mind like that to prove a personal point?
I sure did. You know, everyone knows I was over in England. People think I failed over there. It had a lot more to do with my ability, not being able to play over there, and people talked about maybe you'll get a contract over there. I'm worried about getting a contract here with the national team.
All right, Tony. Well, just a different level of performance, a different level of intensity by Tony Meola was the difference tonight. We thank you very much. We appreciate it. Back up to you, JP.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ty. Congratulations, Tony. We have a tie now in first place in the U.S. Cup 93. Guess who's tied with Brazil? It's the United States, each with 2 points. Germany yet to play a game, and nothing yet for England. Stick with us. Still more to come your way. We'll look at highlights when we come back to Foxborough. Stay with us. You're watching the World Series of Soccer. This is U.S. Cup 93 on Sports Channel America.
On the road again.
Introducing